Today we explain why Astaroth is the time devil and one of the three rulers of the underworld, and why it is likely that he possesses Julius Novachrono. We also explain you why Xenon is possessed by the third ruler of the underworld, Beelzebub, the space devil, Black Clover, the evil Trinity, here in Yonami, the YouTube channel for anime and manga content. In the last chapter of Black Clover, we were introduced to a new supreme devil, Lucifugus, who works for the three rulers of the underworld, the devils of gravity, space, and time magic. We know that Lucifugus supports these three devils. We also know that one of the three rulers is 100% Lucifero, the devil of gravity magic who possesses Dante Socrates from the Dark Triad. However, Lucifero is not the highest ranked devil, just one of the highest ranked devils, which means that there are devils who shares his position in the devil hierarchy. And along with the fact that we found out in the last chapter that the underworld was ruled by three devils, we can apply this knowledge to the wide subjects and many versions of demonology to filter the correct version that is used in Black Clover. We only find one result, the evil Trinity, the first hierarchy of the underworld, the three rulers of hell, Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Astaroth. All of them are supported by the devil Lucifuge, Rofakel, in Latin Lucifugus, as the ruler of the government of hell. A perfect match for Black Clover. Lucifugus, the head of government of the underworld, and Lucifer is the devil of gravity. This only leaves Beelzebub and Astaroth to be either the space or time magic devils. And now it's getting very interesting. We know that Xenon Socrates from the Dark Triad has a spatial devil whom he considered to be the strongest spatial magic ever. That means if Xenon's devil is the strongest space magic devil, he can logically only be one of the three devils that rule over the underworld. There can't be a stronger space devil than the space devil who is part of the three devils who rule over the underworld. Which immediately gives us the thought that the evil Trinity possesses the Dark Triad, as we have already proven that Xenon must be possessed by one of the three rulers of the underworld, the space magic devil. And we also have confirmation that Lucifer is the gravitation magic devil who possesses Dante Socrates. And so by that logic, Venica must be possessed by the time devil, right? Wrong! That's just not the case, as she's possessed by the cursed devil Megicula. But why does Xenon and Dante have one of the three rulers of the underworld, but Venica doesn't? The answer to that lies in the true nature of the devil Astaroth. Just to give you a brief idea of why Astaroth might be the time devil, Astaroth in demonology is the devil who knows the past, present, and future. Fits perfectly to the magical attribute time. But that is not everything. Although Astaroth is part of the evil Trinity, he's actually not evil at all. He says that he was unjustified punished by God and blames Lucifer for the war in heaven and that he became a fallen angel. He believes that one day he will regain his position as an angel in heaven. Astaroth serves as an advisor to the humans but avoid helping the devils. This is because Astaroth does not want his wisdom to be associated with evil intentions. He is only willing to give his power to those who seek his help to do good deeds. It is said that if someone tries to summon him for bad intentions, he will refuse to help them. In demonology, it is described that one cannot summon one of the three evil Trinity devils to make a pact in which the human is in control, which means that a human can only make a pact with one of the rulers of the underworld if they then serve one of the three devils, and not the other way around, just like in the case of the Dark Triad. However, as mentioned earlier, when someone tries to summon Astaroth, he will only appear if the person trying to summon him has good intentions, otherwise he will ignore anyone with evil plans. The member of the Dark Triad, Dante, summoned Lucifer and made a pact with him. Then Xenon summoned Beelzebub, who then also made a pact. And in the end, Venica tried to conjure Astaroth, the devil of time, who then refused because Venica had bad intentions, and so it happened that Venica summoned Megicula instead. And therefore, only Beelzebub can be the space devil that possesses Xenon Socrates, and the time magic devil, who is the third ruler of the underworld, is Astaroth, who despite the fact that he is part of the evil Trinity, is not evil at all, as his true nature is described in demonology as being rather helpful to humanity.
However, the question of whether Astaroth could possess Julius Novachrono has yet to be answered. Two of three devils who rule the underworld already possess humans. It is not unlikely that the third devil Astaroth also possesses a human. And as we know, Astaroth only helps those who want good deeds and have no bad intentions. That is, if Astaroth really does possess someone, then that person must use time magic. since that is Astaroth's devil magic. And this human must also be a good person with good intentions. All of this fits Julius Novachrono. Many believe that Julius has two types of magic. He definitely uses time magic that could come from Astaroth. Furthermore, Julius' goal is to create a better future in which no social class decides your position in society. He wants all people to be able to live together without discrimination. It is difficult to change people's minds, especially when they have to give up their own beliefs in order to get others treated equally. Most of the time, the only way to achieve such a future is through a revolution, in which something must be first destroyed in order to lay the foundation for a better future. And maybe that is what Julius Novachrono wants to achieve. We cannot just simply ignore the fact that Julius was the person who collected the two sources for the Clifford ritual, Yami and William. We cannot ignore that he was the one who insisted that both of them join his magic squad. He even taught Yami the local language and made William a mask so that both act freely as magic knights. We cannot ignore the fact that he then added Morgan to his squad, who happens to be the child of the Faust family, who are devoted to demonology. We cannot ignore the fact that he was the one who made William and Yami captains of their own squads. And with all of this, he at least is indirectly responsible for the creation of the Clifford tree. We cannot ignore the fact that he was the one who sent Nacht to the Spade Kingdom as his private spy, who is the head of the Faust family and is possessed by 4 devils. We just cannot ignore the fact that every time a devil shows up, Julius couldn't fight them or even be in the same place. We speculated for a while whether this was a mere coincidence or whether Julius actually did this on purpose. And if it was on purpose, what reason did Julius have to avoid contact with the devils? In the last few chapters, we found out Lilith and Nama knew instantly that Dante was possessed by the devil Lucifero, and that thereby they avoided attacking him. This means that Zach would also notice that Julius is possessed by the devil, and that the members of the Dark Triad would definitely expose Julius if he was really possessed by the time devil Astaroth. In the last chapter, when Morgan died in Nacht's arms, we saw Nacht asking the gods for help, and suddenly it seems as if an entity had answered him. This entity said, "Don't say what suits you. You done what you want, and now you're in trouble. You count on the gods? Don't give me that, you idiot Bakayaro. Who in the right mind would save you?" Either Nacht was talking to himself or a higher entity was talking to Nacht. We know that Nacht started to observe Asta right after his brother died, which means that for some reason he found out about Asta and his anti-magic. The possibility that this entity was telling Nacht about Asta and his magic is likely. Later on, Nacht and Julius suddenly had close contact, and Julius sent Nacht to the Spade Kingdom as his private spy. When Julius died, he said, "What I was trying to achieve, the future I was trying to build, a country without discrimination or hatred, the new future that I will build with you." And then we saw a panel of Asta. This indicates that Julius was referring to Asta at that moment. It seemed that Asta is special to both Julius and Nacht, as both have knowledge about Asta that not even he himself has. Both knew he was possessed by a devil, and both knew everything about devils of the Spade Kingdom, and the person who could have brought Julius and Nacht into contact could perhaps even be the same entity that spoke to Nacht after the death of his brother Morgan. This entity could have been Astaroth, the time devil who knows the evil plans of the Dark Triad and works together with Julius. So that's it for today, boys. Hope you guys enjoyed our video, and if you did, don't forget to smash the like button and hit subscribe with the notification bell turned on. See you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Yami out.